Today we're talking about AI, yes, artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about when you pretend to have read Proust at a dinner party. You know, how that swan went the other way. You know, what's his face? Swanee? Well, before we begin, I want to address the mustache in the room. In my attempts to become a mixture of Tom Selleck and Alex Trebek, I've recognized that growing upper lip facial hair is the one thing that will set me apart from my AI replacement. I just dare you to grow a mustache, OpenAI. I dare you! Now, I know this topic has been absolutely beaten to death in the past few months, but a lot of stories about AI and work have had massive amounts of speculation, inaccuracy, and fear-mongering, which incidentally is my absolute favorite form of mongering. That being said, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows either, with AI promising big changes across a lot of different industries. So what's the truth? AI is becoming so prevalent that I bet you didn't realize that this whole introduction was written by ChatGPT, voiced by 11 Labs, and starring Synthesia. Great looking avatar, but they still can't get the stash quite right. Soon in this video, we'll dive into the current state of AI in the workforce, what the experts and people on the ground have to say, and lastly, what you can do with all of this crazy, conflicting information to keep a roof over your head. The big question now as ever is, will it take our jobs? By now you've probably heard about the massive layoffs ravaging the tech sector. Odds are good you know somebody who recently lost their job. Maybe you even just lost your job. Or like me, you live in perpetual fear of losing your job, rocking yourself to sleep each night at 4 a.m. as your crusty, bloodshot eyes simply fail to close. But what's all the hullabaloo? Why are so many companies posting record profits and yet feeling the need to fire more employees than a Lord of the Rings battle sequence? Well, first, let's look at the current state of AI in the workforce, guaranteeing that this video will be totally obsolete by the time it's published. A study from PwC claims that 1 in 4 CEOs plans to lay off staff due to AI this year, and the other 3 were out golfing when the survey took place. Kidding. Kidding? And while AI isn't the only factor causing these layoffs, high interest rates and tech hiring surges during the pandemic have played a huge part. It's no secret artificial intelligence is taking center stage right now. According to a new study out of the IMF, AI is expected to impact a whopping 40% of all jobs globally over the next few years, and it could even end up exacerbating income inequality in nations that don't have the infrastructure to handle it, which is probably great news for the IMF. I mean, if developing countries actually end up succeeding, who are we going to give out predatory loans to? All right, that's just a joke. It's a joke! Please don't kill me! Over 20,000 tech employees have already been let go in 2024 so far, and it's only February as of this taping. Those numbers are expected to keep on rising with companies like Wayfair, eBay, and Microsoft being hit especially hard. But this phenomenon, this happening, if you will, is not just isolated to tech. AI negotiations were one of the central focuses of the big writers and actors strikes last year. SAG-AFTRA secured a deal that video game developers can only generate speech from actors who have given their explicit permission. OpenAI's Sora can create cinema-grade video from text alone, begging the question of, will the film industry even exist in a few years' time? What will? Recently, the WGA was able to keep screenwriters safe from being required to use generative AI for content, for now at least. And while these may seem like a win for some artists, there are losses for others. Film union IATSE is also facing an impending strike, as AI technology has the potential to be so profound that we may not even need to light a scene or even film a scene anymore. Simply tell AI you want an artsy shot with a green-orange color tint and let the magic of artificial intelligence do its thing. Jeffrey Katzenberg, who I thought was just Puss in Boots' personal agent up until now, but is actually, it turns out, the co-founder of DreamWorks, said that there's a strong possibility that AI could replace up to 90% of animators in just 3 years' time. 90%! Now that's the kind of shrewd business decision that only the brilliant mind who brought the world The Boss Baby and The Boss Baby 2 Family Business could come up with. Previously, people thought that creative or knowledge jobs would be safe from encroaching AI, and that it would come for less skilled jobs first, just like automation came from manufacturing in the early 2000s and now. And this is what's really taken the world by storm over the past year or so. Who is safe? But just because many jobs are going away, it doesn't necessarily mean all animators and all software developers are going to be shipped off to the mines to produce cobalt for our robot overlords anytime soon. No, they're going to be doing something far more sinister. They're actually going to be training the AI, and they're going to like doing it. Please, sir, can I have more universal basic income, please? You may have heard of AI prompting. You may have even done it yourself when you typed, "Can you pretend to be my ex-girlfriend Jennifer and tell me you love me?" into ChatGPT. But seriously, AI prompting as a job is just figuring out how exactly to phrase certain questions and inputs for the most natural response. Somebody's got to feed the beast. If you're like me, you still say please and thank you to ChatGPT, hedging your bets that when it one day announces sentience, it may spare you for your politeness. Because tech companies are putting so much emphasis on artificial intelligence, these jobs are paying incredibly well right now. So if you fancy being employed, building a cage around yourself one brick at a time, then this just might be the career path for you. A study for Biz Report showed that job postings for AI-focused roles have an average 77% higher salary than basically any other industry at the moment, with some salaries going as high as $450K a year. As one of my podcast guests has told me, this is one of the few industries where you can quickly become a world expert. These are jobs that support one of the most well-known types of AI, large language models, or like ChatGPT, Bard, or Gemini, or Frogurt, or whatever the hell it's called now. Now, these models are often called LLMs, not to be confused with MLMs, which either stands for mini language models or a great way to make some income on the side. Stay-at-home dads, if you're looking to get in on some sweet, sweet essential oil action, here's my Cash App. You can just pay me directly to get started in this wonderful world of limitless sales opportunity. But is there a positive spin to all this massive change? AI skills are in high demand, with IDC predicting that generative AI skills could contribute over $1 billion to the global economy by 2026 through improved productivity alone. And at major consulting firms like Deloitte, artificial intelligence is being used to avoid future layoffs using optimization to reallocate workers to industries with greater needs. And in fact, that is the promise of the positive side of AI. AI can be, at its best, a great tool to remove people from menial, boring jobs they hate and put them into better, more highly skilled jobs they hate. This only highlights the fact that for all the chaos AI is causing, it could end up being very good news for a lot of the workforce. Take the UK, for example. No, seriously, take it. Man, that joke killed in Winnetka. In the UK, AI engineers are trying to find ways to use artificial intelligence to shorten the work week. This could free up to 28% of their workforce to focus on other endeavors like creating an even blander food than beans on toast or perfecting their Love Island application. But seriously, what is a Chinese, and how can we get them to stop saying that? These stories are just a few examples of how, despite the frenzy over layoffs, AI-generated streaming shows and robot girlfriends... Hey, my Jennifer, the only girl who ever understood me. Language models, image generators, and other forms of generative AI probably don't spell the end of work as we know it. Prior to all this AI implementation, work was already changing in some fundamental ways. With the mass adoption of remote work and more people moving to freelancing, either by choice or because they have to, a study from Upwork where I hired one of my writers, Mari, if you're hearing this, you're fired for that Proust joke. Who the hell reads Proust? And why the f*** are we opening a YouTube video with that joke? They're just kids. They're just kids. A study from Upwork showed that about 64 million Americans are already engaging in some form of freelance work. The fact of the matter is that work is changing. It has been for a while, and while AI is playing a role, it's only a piece of this puzzle. As of now, if you work in any other industry besides website, you don't have to worry about being replaced anytime too soon, with a study from MIT showing that replacing human workers with computers might actually be too expensive, saying that only 23% of wages lost from AI-related cuts could be substituted. As much as we like to believe that humans are so easily replaceable, AI automatons aren't without their costs. We just don't see the massive server farms gobbling up resources like Uncle Gary gobbling pain meds 10 years after his surgery. Even institutions like the European Central Bank are saying that reports of AI causing unemployment are massively overblown. Amazon, for its part, is already planning on implementing free AI training for anyone who wants it. Microsoft is even teaming up with the AFL-CIO, one of the biggest U.S. labor groups, to bring workers into conversations about the future of AI tools and provide training for the more than 12 million members across industries who have the potential to be most affected. So what can you do? Well, now, as always, knowledge is power. As with all trends over the past 100 years, there are those who embrace the change, those who ignore the change, and those who fight change tooth and nail. History has shown repeatedly that those who embrace change often benefit the most from it. For example, those who sold BeanieBabies.com before 1999, those who believed that the internet wasn't just for hobbyist nerds and losers. Oh, what? Well, I guess some things never change. Those who gambled their life savings on GameStop because some dude in a bandana told them to. You get the point I'm trying to make. AI is coming. AI is here. AI is exponential. Make no mistake about it. And the best thing you can do is educate yourself to increase your chances of working with and in the new paradigm. So how can it make you more productive today? How can you use it as a tool and become one with the machines, making you much harder to replace? These are the questions we should all be asking. And more importantly, as a reminder, just be a good human being. Remember that there's more to life than what a machine tells you to do or what a stranger's face yells at you to think via a YouTube video you never wanted to watch in the first place. You are unique in ways both incomprehensible and mystical, and you are capable of growth. As Darwin showed, all organisms must adapt to survive. And you're an organism, right? So best gets adaptin'. If you want my opinion, take the time to grow a fine mustache. The results, I'm told, will be more than worth it. Folks, what you really need to know is that AI is coming to your job, but probably not for your job. Yet, anyway. This doesn't mean that your career won't somehow be impacted. It just means that you don't have to worry about showing up to the office and see Rosie from the Jetsons lounging at your desk. The impacts of AI on the U.S. labor force will be substantial, but they'll be gradual. And just like how we never saw AI coming for artists, of all people, we can only guess where it's going to take us next. So see, there's no reason to reject it. Just join the singularity already and plug your brain into the machine. Give up your body and meld your consciousness with all others who have joined into the next stage of human evolution. All right, maybe I should personally lay off some of this AI stuff for a little while. My next video? Gardening. Is it a hobby? Is it the only thing you can do to spare yourself from inevitable doom? Stay tuned and find out.